saying anything.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. It is the Postgame Show with the final score: the Browns 27 and the Cardinals donut. I do have some things that I wanted to mention on the program because I think they're mentioning, and I'm not going to give you a complete analytics conversation about this. And joining us, I think, is Bronk from merry old England, but I don't know.
Can you hear me? I can now hear
I
you.
can hear Bronk perfectly fine. People in the chat room say I hear Bronk, but the fact is something's not set up, so I'm muting his mic right now until he gets something together here, because I can hear him, but he's not going. Oh, how about now?
Says the host has unmuted your mic.
Ah, good. Well, no, I muted it, then unmuted it. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
All right, but you're here. That's the important thing.
I'm here. We're alive. We survived.
All right, here's the deal with this game.
What's the deal?
I think that everybody is going to be of the same opinion they were before the game began. And there's nothing unusual about that because people don't change their stance on things. And except the people who are against marijuana legislation that would make marijuana legal, those Republicans changed their mind when their big business buddies were making all the money off it. Okay. I can tell you the only time people change their opinions is where there's money involved. If you went into the game saying that Deshaun Watson is just not the Deshaun Watson of old, he will never be. That's what you're saying right now. That's what you'll be saying tomorrow. That's what you're going to be telling your children 14 times a day to make sure they believe it. That's what you're going to tell your wife. That's what you're going to post 114 times tomorrow on social media. If you feel that Deshaun Watson just needs to play more to get back into it, well, then you're going to be doing the same thing. And the bottom line is, if you just don't like Deshaun Watson because you think he's a rapist, you've been saying that for how long now? So you're not going to stop saying that. So nothing that I say is going to change any of that.
No, the one thing I would take exception to your little mini rant there is that these people don't have wives to talk to normally. They just talk to themselves in their basement.
Yeah, well, I mean, or on social media.
I think social media.
Here's what I saw. In the first half of the football game, Deshaun Watson looked very unsteady. And when I say unsteady, I mean uncomfortable, timing off, not confident with his arm, not really seeing things and believing what he was seeing. I want to remind people of this much of things. If you start with Baker Mayfield and then you have Jacoby Brissett, and then you have, PJ Walker, and then you have Joshua Dobbs, and then, there hasn't been a quarterback who has figured out what Kevin Stefanski's offense is. Okay.
None of them have. Absolutely none.
All right. Bobby, I left a message on your phone, buddy. So I hope you're okay and you're doing well. And I always am thinking about you. So good buddy from the singing community and karaoke, and a great vocalist. Wow. So it's good, good seeing from him and hearing from him. I haven't seen any quarterback really figure this thing out. This set of receivers, with the exception of Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore doesn't get open, and he doesn't really have good hands. And he has speed that they can't take advantage of because he doesn't obviously run very good patterns. Cedric Tillman looked like he's lining up on the wrong part of the field, but that would be like the fourth receiver who gets into this scheme who does the same thing.
Oh God, yeah.
You take, and we're still so tight end heavy that we don't get anybody down the field and open. It's not a good offensive scheme. So remember, when you're judging, whether you're judging Joshua Dobbs or Jacoby Brissett or Deshaun Watson or whomever you're judging, just make sure that you realize that there's one consistent element in all of this, and that's the guy who's created this offensive scheme.
Yes.
Yeah. And why rest Watson when he needs all the reps he can get?
Oh, please. I mean, you don't put him out in the middle of the fourth quarter with
that's brain damage stuff, Wable.
I mean, you don't put Amari Cooper out there that time either. So yeah, I mean, I was like shocked that Watson and Cooper were out there as long as they were.
Yeah, and that's an interesting question. Doggy Bone saying activate Watkins from the practice squad. You don't even hear about him anymore, and he was the leading preseason pass catcher for the Browns, and he seemed to be able to get open and just run patterns and get open. I don't understand.
God knows about him.
We've had
we
had 3 tight ends in the game so much that there was a play that we ran. Holy cannoli. We had Nick Harris in the backfield and Harrison Bryant and Kareem Hunt, and it was the touchdown play. And then you had still Njoku on the field. I mean, this is just not, I know, but you take a look at the score. If you've scored 30 points in a game, Jim, and you only have 200 yards passing, how is that happening when your team has under 100 yards rushing? I haven't watched that game, but don't give credit to a quarterback who's not throwing. I mean, his number was stuck at 192 yards for the time that they had like 17 points to the time that they had 30 points.
No, I don't know what happened there either. I've got red zone on now though, and it looks like Houston is going to win the game. I think.
I don't know.
It's tough. It's close. The Tampa Bay have the ball, but anyway, this.
Yeah, well, he's saying they have it on the Houston 36, third down. That's a 53-yard field goal, eminently makeable. Yeah. Jason Arrington saying, well, if Watson can't figure out the playbook, no one will. And why did we draft Tillman? It's because there's just no love for wide receivers in this offense, and I don't get it. I just don't understand it. But before I criticize every single quarterback who plays in the system, at some point you've got to shine a light on the system and say, maybe this just isn't passing friendly. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's not good enough.
The offensive line isn't passing friendly. Absolutely not. We can obviously run the ball for 4.5 yards per carry, but we can't seem to pass block well enough to or the receivers don't get open, or the scheme doesn't allow the receivers to get open. You have to look at the whole picture is what you're saying, and there's something not right.
Well, it's really not simple, because if you remember Baker Mayfield's tenure here, he injures quarterbacks. For some reason, quarterbacks all get injured playing for Kevin Stefanski. And you throw the ball and people aren't open. You force the ball in and you turn the ball over.
Yeah, you throw the spots and the people aren't there, or there's linebackers there, or the ball gets batted down 25 times. How many times did Baker Mayfield must have led the league in batted passes?
And to be honest with you, when Watson had time to throw and he looked downfield, it was like there was nobody open.
Yeah, it was like,
it's like, get me out of here. But here's the good news that I want to pass on. There were 2 throws in the second half of the game, both of them to Amari Cooper. And you saw them because you just watched the game. The one was a fake handoff, and he spun 360 and in time, in rhythm, hit Amari Cooper going across the seam. That was the first pass that Deshaun Watson threw, that he looked confident in the timing of a play.
Yeah.
And it should be no coincidence that every major big pass that was caught and big play through the air went to Amari Cooper, because he's an experienced receiver. I don't think that Elijah Moore knows how to run a pattern. I don't think the people who are out on the field, we'd be far better off with David Bell on the field if his knee would get healed. If in fact there's something wrong with his knee. I don't know what's going on with David Bell, whether he's just a healthy scratch at this point, but there was no indication that his knee injury was going to last this many weeks. No. But be that as it may, he's a guy who is not going to break anything, but he can at least run a pattern and get open, and his hands will catch the ball. He'll just catch 6 and 7 yard passes. And the last throw to Amari Cooper, he was double covered, but the ball was laid in beautifully. It was a spiral. It looked like Deshaun Watson. It looked like the way he throws a football historically.
From 4 years ago. Yeah. So it looked like him from 2021 or whatever, 2020 or whatever it was.
Right. But the thing is, he's already proven he can do this. The question is, up here, like I said at halftime, how much of him is in the game mentally at this point? There was another thing that I thought was very interesting after the big touchdown throw, or it wasn't really a touchdown throw. It was short of the end zone. You had Hunt and Njoku, and they focused on that. And what they were doing is raising each other's arms to see who the crowd was cheering for more, just having fun. And then they called Deshaun Watson over, and he stands between them, and he raises his arms real fast. And it's like, you didn't feel that in your shoulder, Deshaun, did you? Because when you've got adrenaline going and you're feeling better about yourself, you stop thinking about the other stuff. I talked about this at halftime. That throw might be a melting of ice. It may be a decomplicator. It may simplify his thinking and make him realize, I can still do this. This shoulder isn't going to stop me from doing that. But everything else, I mean, he's throwing to Jerome Ford. He's throwing to Njoku. The one play that got stopped, and before the crazy lucky touchdown in the beginning of the game, was just a dump out into the flat to Njoku. But if that's somebody with speed, he's in the end zone, because there was nothing but green in front of him. Because the way the play was designed was they ran everybody off the other side of the field and got the ball out. Problem with the Chief is that he can rumble down the field and get speed, but he accelerates like a 4-cylinder vehicle instead of like a 6 or an 8. And so Buda Baker just came across and nailed him before he could get going. But any guy who had any speed, that would have been a touchdown right then and there.
Yeah, but very, very quick update. Mayfield just scored the TD pass. Tampa Bay are ahead.
Good for them.
So
good for them. How much time left?
Yeah, nothing, like 20 seconds.
Good for him and good for them. I'm happy.
So, there you go. Vikings are winning. 5 seconds left.
The Vikings with Joshua Dobbs, and good for him, because he was like 11 for 21 winning when I last looked. I think that was true in the beginning of the game, but not at the end of the game, Wable. And the problem is the team we're playing next, we have no chance of beating. All right. No, the Ravens are way better than we are. We're not in the same league as they are. And it isn't going to be so easy. This was an easy situation because Clayton Tune played more like Clayton Moore, the guy who used to be the Lone Ranger.
He was
dead.
The Lone Ranger back there, fighting off Indians single-handedly.
Yeah, I mean,
it was tough.
So, I mean, everybody wanted to get down on DTR. Well, now you know what the reality is. If you're going to go play a really good defense in your first ever NFL game on the road,
you're
fucked. you're fucked. And it looked no different for Clayton Tune than it did for DTR or any other young quarterback who just hasn't had the experience. He was a 5-year quarterback at Houston. And his team had a combined record when he started of 25-19. He's not he was a 5th round pick, like DTR is a 5th, I think, also.
I don't know. Second day or something.
And let's bring David Talevsky into the conversation. Hi, David.
Hey, Boo. How's it going?
It's good. After winning 27-0, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I got the Browns point total right. I thought it'd be 27-13 because I figured some mistakes would be made. But I had no idea how lost Clayton Tune would be.
I mean, he looked like Deshaun Kaiser. In fact, that looked a lot like the Deshaun Kaiser 0-16 Browns out there today.
Only difference is they didn't have Hugh Jackson coaching them. I think they actually do have a decent staff coaching in Arizona.
Wow.
Yeah, it's but again, looking at the stats, all right, there are going to be people who are not going to be happy with Deshaun Watson, who will never be, because he makes too much money. He makes more money than they could ever dream of. He's black, and he makes more money than they can ever dream of. He had a good time with some women, and they are virtuous, and he's a man whore and an abuser. And we've not heard a goddamn thing about any of the women. Once they got their money, they shut the fuck up. The fact of the matter is, none of this was a social issue. Just stop. Stop with this. This was a money grab. And Watson's at fault for allowing himself to be in that situation. And the Texans were to blame for making it easy for him to be in that situation.
And the league got no sanction to the Texans at all whatsoever.
Stupidity.
No sanction.
And what Deshaun Watson is, you know what it's like? It's like Dwight Howard. How stupid can you be?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, if you are into trannies, if you're into whatever, man love or whatever you're into, God bless you. I got no problem with that. When you are a largely publicized individual and you pick some guy up,
that's a catch.
Bring him back to the pad, and then spring a guy with a wig jumping out of a room at him. I mean, that guy's going to make money no matter what. So what are you talking about, David?
Stroud just threw a big pass to Tank Dell. They're in the position to win the game now.
Who?
Stroud.
Tampa Bay may lose now because Stroud is just tearing the field up with no time.
With 26 seconds left in the game?
Yeah. They're
Holy
down
crap,
on
he
the
just caught it.
15-yard line. Yeah, that's a great.
Well, don't speak in incomplete sentences. Holy crap, he just caught it. David, you're a play-by-play man right now, okay? You have to be more descriptive.
10 seconds left.
Oh, my God, he has 2 feet.
10 seconds left. C.J. Stroud's eyeing the field. He's on the 15-yard line of Tampa Bay.
Houston scored, Redu says.
Yeah, they did, but there's a flag
now. Touchdown, Houston. They're ahead of Tampa Bay. 6 seconds left. C.J. Stroud just did an miracle drive.
I mean,
with fuck all time left on the clock.
I mean, if he threw a touchdown pass, that would be his 5th of the day. Guy's thrown for over 400 yards.
Flag.
Yeah, what is the flag though?
The flag? People are leaving.
It's on the defense.
Man, you got to be kidding! They gave up the game in 26 seconds.
It was fuck all time. Yeah, fuck all. 26 seconds. It was like nothing.
Yeah, and you know something, Wable? Love the fact that you watch the program, and I love all of my viewers, and we just disagree on this.
You, Cleveland.
He's supposed to be a franchise quarterback. You didn't invest a dime in him, and if you're upset about the amount of money that he's making, then you're feeding the NFL monster. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't
Let's
know
be
how to.
upset about the money that Bezos and Musk and all those people are making.
Obviously not. Elon Musk and all those people. No.
No, we can't
You
be
never hear
upset
nothing
about
out of
them.
out of people's mouths about that kind of thing. But but that is an incredible ending. I'm going to have to watch that run back.
Oh, they're going for 2.
That'll be the game you're going to see replayed all over the place.
Yeah, it's 39-37 at the moment. Houston's going for 2.
Their run score, they could have. Well, it doesn't matter.
So because I'm in England, I think I'm slightly behind everybody.
They pick that up.
Something, Wable, I don't know who would be your idea of a franchise quarterback playing for this head coach in this system. I just don't know. I'm sorry. I mean, it's nothing.
I mean, you could put Josh Allen back there and he'd look like shit.
I honestly don't believe that there is any sound basis for assuming that anybody, because so far nobody has.
That was 470 yards Stroud threw for.
Yeah, that's a hell of a big game, and that's a great performance. And boy, the Bucks just got to be, and Baker's got to be pulling his hair out.
They just showed Baker looking sad, doing his Freddie Patek impersonation on the bench.
Yeah. So you know what I was getting sick of during the game? The camera just being stuck on Kyler Murray. I don't want that mud of a man's face on my big screen TV for that much airtime. It's like every time they show him, I want to go, hi ho, it's off to work we go. Everybody's waiting for the return of Kyler Murray in Arizona. I'd rather sit on a fucking cactus. I mean, give me a break. I mean, it's not like he's been leading the team to glory land. But God, they just kept focusing on him, and it's like,
well, I tell you what,
ugly.
I'd rather see Kyler Murray than Brian Daboll. That's who they just showed on Red Zone.
You know something? Individuals don't often lose games or win games. CJ Stroud, you're going to say, won the game for the Houston Texans, and that would probably be very accurate. But no, Keith, don't get sensitive. I know you're a Baker bro. We're not blaming Baker Mayfield for this.
No,
he's just bad luck, and he loses everywhere he goes. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I love doing that to the Baker bros. So I was like, God damn it, he sucked me right in again.
Fish hook.
I'll tell you, the Cardinals, my goodness,
they're awful.
Lost. Just lost. And we were living in the backfield. I mean, and what's up with Shelby Harris? Somebody in the chat room point me out. Tell me if I'm right. Was he already wearing the dog chain on the sidelines? Did they already award him that during the game early on? He was wearing this big dog chain. That was after he stripped the quarterback and Myles Garrett, fell on the ball. But I mean, even Zadarius Smith completed a sack. Today was a good day.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
it was a good day. And Taki intercepted a pass. This guy must have really been easy to read, because Taki's like, he's looking here. Oh, thank you. Denzel Ward, good. Problems, though, injuries. Jed Wills is going to be gone for the season, and there are some of you who will stand and applaud, okay?
All right, I'll be honest. I missed like the second quarter, halftime, and the third quarter because I have a family and I was eating dinner. We had all the family over. I wasn't going to force the game on. So what happened to Jedrick Wills then?
His knee. He got hurt earlier in the game, but it wasn't his knee. But this one was his knee, and they carted him off the field.
Oh, right.
And
games.
So he's gone for the year. And Wable and I will agree on this. When you see the reaction of him when he hit the ground and then being carted off, he knew that it was. I'm going to mute David's microphone.
Yeah, because he's got some
too
sound
much
going
sound
on.
source in the background, and I see that he's motoring out of that area. Good. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. You're back again. Yeah, nothing wrong with watching and keeping us informed. I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That was with me, so.
And it's true, actually, in a lunge to get a first down, Kareem Hunt blindsided the side of the knee. And it was the classic roll up, and he's going to be gone for the season. So the problem there is that we're running out of offensive linemen, and it's going to be a real problem.
It happens every year.
Every year.
Every year.
James Hudson's fat ass.
Yeah,
he's getting better. I think after a while, he's getting better.
Well, Big Lurker UK, this is one that you didn't want to miss. So the other ones, the last week's game, you might want to miss that one.
Maybe Big Lurker works every other week. That's why we've seen him win one week and lose the next week. And
he might be a good luck charm. You're absolutely right. And what I can tell you is this: Adam Archuleta doesn't say a whole hell of a lot.
No.
All right.
He just wishes he was better.
Yeah, but I mean,
what was that all about?
Well, no, he's like, well, this passing game just hasn't really, it really hasn't.
Not in tune. Not in sync.
It's just, it doesn't seem to be in sync to me. And it's like, the thing is, Adam, is that you don't watch the team week in, week out, year in, year out, like we do. And I can't remember the passing game ever
being
and this is the week where you got rid of DPJ, who knew where he was going but just couldn't get open, and you're replacing them with people on the field who are having trouble figuring out where to line up. So
and I'll be honest with you, if we don't see Marquise Goodwin again after this game, I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, well, that particular play, what I said as he was being basically walked off the field by two people because he obviously had a severe concussion, and he didn't even have the balance to get to the sidelines. Yeah, he went up for a ball. He's only 5'9", for God's sakes. There's not, the ball. It looked like it hit him in the hands, which we've seen a couple times with him, but he couldn't hold on. But there are two guys converging on him. He needs to get out of the league before he has massive blood clots and dies, or before he dies from head concussion. He's 5'9", 182 pounds, and he's not a pattern runner. He's not going to help us. And I want to see, I like that idea of maybe taking a look at Watkins and see what he can give us, because, no matter whether you like Deshaun Watson or you don't like him, you got to give him an opportunity to throw to people who are going to be able to run a pattern and get open. And the only time Goodwin even sees the ball are on end arounds or on bombs down the field.
Yeah,
there's no intermediate stuff.
Anthony Schwartz replacement. He's doing all the same shit plays that I can't say that, Schwartz used to get. And they're just not working. Like, they didn't work with Schwartz. They don't work with Goodwin. I don't know whether it's the plays or the player or both.
Well, you have to, the long pass works if you suck people in, or if somebody makes a mistake in the secondary. I mean, the biggest one was the touchdown pass to Njoku, where the Cardinals lined up and the two guys were literally looking at each other going, what are we supposed to do? And in that moment before the snap, instead of the guy saying, you take 85, they both just ran in the same direction to cover the same guy. And I swear, if that field would have been mic'd up, this is what you would have heard. I mean, it looked like the fucking Two Stooges. And all the Njoku got a clean release off the line of scrimmage and turned around and said, thank you.
Thank you. I'll have that ball.
Yeah, I mean, so it's got to be disheartening for a defense when your offense, you sit there and it's like you got to be ready to go again instantly because you're not going to get any first downs. And, I don't want to blast Clayton Tune, but for God's sakes, 11 of 20 for 58 yards. That's a 2.9 average, 2 interceptions, sacked 7 times, rushed many more,
poor guy.
and a 20.8 rating. Just want to point out that Deshaun Watson completed 62% of his passes, which is still low for him. 219 yards, 2 TDs, no picks, sacked once, on 107.5 rating. All right.
Yeah.
So those are the numbers. You can do whatever you want. We ran for 113 yards. Watson had a couple of scrambles out of the pocket because nobody's open downfield.
Yeah.
Jerome Ford had and Kareem Hunt were stuffed. And that's what's going to kill us against the Ravens.
Oh, yeah.
Next week. It's not going to be a pretty thing at all. But hey, we should be happy now because we actually
you know what? I think
won.
Kevin Stefanski should incorporate a play where Watson deliberately throws the ball against a defensive helmet and then just has a receiver 20 yards away to catch the ball. Because that seems to always get completed either to us or the opposition. So
there's the
that.
early line. Baltimore
played generous. I would
37-3, man. They were crushing Seattle, who came back and beat us last week. Of course, they were playing in Baltimore, not in Seattle, but I don't think it would have made a whole hell of a lot of difference.
No.
But right now they're on a roll. And the thing that's really interesting about it, and I want to look at that game up here because it's not only is it a massive win for the best team in the division. Let's see if I can. Why am I not seeing that box score of that game? Where are the Ravens? Though they're invisible.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to bet.
I got it pulled up.
Yeah. Okay. Now I got it. All right. Good.
Yeah.
They stuck it in a funny place. Lamar Jackson didn't have to do it all, and that's really the key here.
That's when they win. That's when they
21 of 26 for 187 yards, but no TDs, no interceptions, 1 sack, a 96.6 passer rating,
and 1 fumble.
Okay, but you look at the rushing, and they rushed for 298 yards, and Keaton Mitchell, who I've never heard of, 9 carries for 138 yards. They obviously have found their replacement for J.K. Dobbins. And I don't know where they get them. I don't know how they do it. Great organizational people, great front office people, whatever the story is. Lamar Jackson ran 10 times for 60 yards. Gus Edwards, 5 for 52. Justice Hill, 13 for 40. That's 298 yards on the ground. You cannot beat this team. They will win the Super Bowl if they can run for that kind of yardage.
If they run for 300 yards a game, they're going to
dominate the clock.
Beat them. Yeah, no one's going to ever beat them.
And Geno Smith, when he went up against the Ravens defense,
he got
Geno Smith, 13 of 28, 157 yards, 1 pick, and a 49 rating. So
he looked like Jets Geno Smith.
Yeah, I mean, so to me, it's just obvious who the best team is, and we're just, we got to go in and do the best we can do there, and then get Pittsburgh and Cleveland and do a number on them.
Yeah, let's try not to get players hurt next week. Really,
we got to be 6-4 after the next 2, and then we got to look at the remaining schedule and see how many more with 7 games left. And you win 4, it's not enough. You got to have to go 5-2. Yeah, that's going to be hard for this team.
Yeah, we're on course for 9-8, which is out of the playoffs or 7th seed.
I could see us getting to 10-7, but I don't think that's going to even be good enough to get us into the playoffs.
Probably not.
So,
and the thing we're not keeping track of is Cincinnati also, because it seems like they've kind of gone on a resurgence.
Yeah, well,
it takes Burrow to fucking trip his ankle, and they'll be going downhill again.
Well, but you knew that the Bengals would wake up, and you knew that the question with Burrow is whether he stays healthy, and then the question is, what if the second half was an indicator that Deshaun Watson is starting to get a little bit of his swagger, starting to get some of the timing. He's going to practice full practices. His shoulder held up. So he went through an NFL game where he scrambled, where he got sacked, that he played, almost a full game. And, he came out unscarred. How is,
as far as we know.
Yeah. How is he going to emotionally and mentally react to the situation of, going into a game, actually thinking, hey, I'm healthy. It's going to be a hard game. It's going to be a game where they're going to try to hurt him. And
they're going to try to injure him. The thing about Watson today was that he didn't pull out of, he didn't slide. He didn't pussyfoot out of bounds. He ran downfield to get first downs, and and he didn't get killed. So
and what's funny is I sit here, and when the Browns win, the audience dwindles. When the Browns lose, it goes way up. And the fact of the matter is I'm not a reactionary kind of guy. I do these programs because, I like to talk about what happens and why it may have happened. But, I'm not sold at all, on Kevin Stefanski. That's, I think the problem with this team is that we've made this great leap defensively, but offensively, we're weaker even than we've been in the past because we just don't have the cast of characters besides Amari Cooper. And we've been dealing with constant injuries on our offensive line. And,
we're missing those big plays that Chubb used to give us, and it's not going to, you might get the odd one from Ford or Hunt, but it's not the same thing.
But even the negative people still will show up at a win, you see.
Yeah.
Raul.
We are in third place.
Raul. Hey, Raul. How you doing, buddy?
I love that name. Raul.
And Keith, who's also a real ray of sunshine, I don't mind. I don't mind if all the players lose use of their legs as long as Stefanski gets fired.
Well, that's kind of how I feel. But I've never been a ray of sunshine myself.
But I think that we do need life in the offensive scheme. And, I don't know, as far as our offensive line is concerned, it's going to be a real quilt by the time all this is put together.
Oh, I didn't have a chance, during the week or whatever, to comment about DPJ being traded.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that we got a replacement that may not have a 3 initial name, but has the number 2 after their surname, just so that the balance, so that the apocalypse doesn't happen. Because we have to have so many guys that have the initials like JOK and DTR, and we have to have so many guys that are Fields the second, the Hudson the third.
I mean, didn't you find it strange though that of all the numbers that the punt returner was named Porsche? Is that his name?
Porsche.
Prochet, yes.
Okay.
Prochet.
That he would be number 11.
Yeah,
do you think that there's a little gridge in that, man? What's the story with that? And
he was catching the ball and running with it.
That's the thing.
That's unbelievable. So what the fuck is he doing? He's supposed to pussyfoot out of bounds after he's called.
But the thing is that there were 2 penalties on his returns, and so you never know. Stefanski may have been telling DPJ, just catch the ball so we don't go backwards. But DPJ had no business returning punts. He was a frontline receiver. He was a first-string guy. He had no business being on special teams. He was not a good punt returner. He didn't have the kind of speed, and he did not want to do the job. He clearly did not want to do the job. And even a guy coming in off of a practice squad, he played before for the Ravens, I understand. He's a wide receiver. But, he came in, handled the punts, and actually he broke a couple for 15 and 29 yards, but they were called back because,
Interesting. According to Aditi Kikabwala, Jim Schwartz missed yesterday's walkthrough with a viral infection.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought it would be a viral infection because he's manly.
Yeah, he's hard.
Ooh.
He's manly.
Yeah, but
oh god.
Well, a viral infection can only be one thing. AIDS. No. No. So,
What about our kicker missing a field goal? Can we focus on the negative of that? He had made
well,
like
a couple of
12
his
in a
kicks
row.
are starting to drift left. That's all I'm going to
Yeah.
say. But no, he look 12 of 13 or 13 of 14, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, I'll take it.
Poor Anthony Hopkins there, at the remains of the day.
And there, Raul, he's talking up Dobbs. Well, who did Minnesota beat? For God's sake, the fucking Falcons.
Falcons.
Raul, why don't you put my Cuban in your mouth? Stop already.
That's got to be like a moniker of Tony the Calf. That reeks of Tony the Calf. There.
It was a staph infection. So the whole staff had it?
The whole staff got
No,
it.
I know what you're saying, Jim.
With Charles Bentley.
I'm being silly.
Buddy.
Yeah, Charles Bentley. Fuck him. Don't get me started.
Your favorite guy.
No, don't get me started on him. Don't. Last time I'm ever going to lend a helping hand to a professional athlete. Fuck it.
I'm never gonna say with Charles Bentley ever again, or Gary Baxter for that matter.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, and we just didn't. I
got another question for Dick Goddard. What's with the weather that people were out in the lake in boats and stuff, and it's like the beginning of November? What's going on?
It's
actually
kind of like
warm enough.
It's a Benjamin Button kind of season. Instead of getting colder, it's getting warmer. And nobody seems to understand it. But you know something? I don't give a fuck because I'm dead. The thing with the weather here is great for you, us here. Yeah, well, yeah, because we thought, oh my God, we're gonna have to go through another 4 or 5 days of that really Arctic, little snowy. We had snow and chill and all that. And now it's like up to the day that we're leaving, it's going to be in the 50s. I'm like, yes.
Put it on the board. Yeah.
Oh, my back feels so much better. I'm not in a position where I can't get animated. I can tell Raul to put my dick in his mouth, and it doesn't hurt me.
It doesn't hurt.
What about that issue?
His dick wouldn't hurt anyone, but go ahead.
What about that issue that Rock's had? How's that going?
Oh, real good. She is back to breathing regularly. She has, and pulmonary embolisms are scary things, folks. People die from that.
Correct.
No lie, Molokai. And we're very, very fortunate that we got it and put her on some blood thinners and got that sucker dissolved. But she's doing much better. Thank you for asking. And we're going to get back to Florida and get ourselves in position to set up there for the next 5.5, 6 months before we come back to Ohio again. So, now that is kind of funny. Raul, that's funny. That's a name I haven't thought of in a long time, and we're going to get all of the, look at this, Montario Hardesty.
How about touchdown Tommy Vardell?
There you go. 1.5 yards to the cloud of dust.
One play wonder, Jerome Harrison.
Jerome Harrison, the one trick pony. Yeah, he has one 200 some odd yard game, and then nobody remembered who in the hell he was. But wasn't Owen Marisic and Tommy Vardell both from Stanford? Am I right about that?
They could very well be.
It's like never get a moving van running back from Stanford, please, for God's sakes.
Yeah, they're smart, but they can't get out of anybody's way.
For God's sakes. One thing that I'm happy that we won, but two, I'm happy for Deshaun Watson that he got to make a few throws and saw a good outcome. I think that's
Yep. Well, I think he was due that deflection off the helmet landing to a Brown. I think he deserved that. So
Britt and Bo, and and the thing that would be even more interesting if it were Riddick Bo, he wouldn't know where he was. So no. So yeah. we've had a lot of problems at wide receiver through the years. And the one guy we had that was the real deal, Josh Gordon, was like now the George Pickens of today. Yeah, absolutely goofy.
Can we give it up while we're here? Can we give it up for Bill Belichick and the amazing New England Patriots who got beat by the Washington
Commanders?
A team that's about throwing their season away.
Yeah, it's like we just gave away the most important pieces of our defense, and we still held you because Mac Jones, fucking Corky back there. Yeah, it's but hey, at least Gordon was a good player, Keith. I mean, there was no doubt. There was no doubt that he was going to get high and get penalized.
I think the
by
higher
the
he was, the better he played. I think that's the way it was because he was obviously lit half the time he was on the field.
Wasted talent, and I think that Pickens is going to be the same way. He's at every level that he's played, he's had emotional problems, and it seems like when things were going better, he's going better, but he's playing with Kenny Pickett, and things aren't real good. And when he's not the guy who's getting his hands on the ball, he obviously is going to cause trouble.
You have to understand here, the Steelers receivers have had a history of being head cases.
Chase Claypool being the most recent.
Yes.
Oh, and then the other guy that stripped off that went to
Antonio Brown.
Antonio, that's the one.
They've had a bunch of cuckoo people. Yeah.
The only one that wasn't was Hines Ward.
No, Hines Ward was a good receiver. I mean, I don't like the Steelers, but the fact of the matter is, Lynn Swann was a great receiver. Dave Stallworth was a great receiver.
Yep.
I mean, they've had some wonderful wide receivers. Betty Cunningham was a really good tight end. They've had some really good players.
He fit in really well with the Steelers' ethos because he used to cheap shot people and crack back.
Who?
So, Hines Ward. He was like,
yeah.
Oh, he was one of the dirtiest players on the field.
Physical player. But again, results are results. And as a receiver, he caught everything that was thrown around him. He caught, and there was a real plan at that point in time with Kennedy. I don't know what the deal is in Pittsburgh, but they got to do something and I can understand why Pickens would be upset. But the fact of the matter is, you can't just go off like a bomb in public. That's not a good thing. But they need to change offensive coordinators. They really do.
There's a good chunk of the fans of Pittsburgh that are starting to see the reality that Kenny Pickett is not the answer.
Right, and he has kind of an Aquilin John, kind of a feminine look about him.
He is pretty.
Isn't he cute? No, but he doesn't have any of the swagger and any of the confidence, and he doesn't have the arm or the accuracy. They need to. They're still in. Even though they're in good shape in the standings, imagine if they had any kind of a quarterback whatsoever.
Raul has summoned up Greg Little.
Well, I miss the days of Stuart Little.
Yeah.
But
I miss Rich Little.
So do I.
He was hilarious.
Yeah.
Tony Little, that guy that used to advertise the workout machines.
Oh, God, that hyperactive guy. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, Greg Little, that was another great selection. Hey, he's a running back in North Carolina, but hey, we're going to make him a wide receiver. It's like, how come he doesn't have good hands? It's like,
he never caught a damn thing that was thrown to him.
No, but I mean, this is the history of the organization. We just, we don't, we had the greatest tight end perhaps of all time in Ozzie Newsome, who was just tremendous. We had Paul Warfield way back when, but Gary Collins, Dave Logan. I mean, but these are not household names. These are not like guys who are like Jerry Rice,
Yeah.
We haven't had people like that.
No. We probably never will. But anyway.
God only knows. Well, I don't have.
Is there a Cavs game tonight?
Yeah, at 6 o'clock. I'm going to miss it quite intentionally. I got a better place to be. I'm really disappointed in that whole thing. And I'll get into that on the Monday show tomorrow. But very disappointed in the coaching on the Cavaliers and the lack of intensity of having tendencies of only playing half of a game and letting teams get up on them by 17 points, letting the fucking Pacers get up on you.
Yeah.
And then it forces a close game in a road game. And, there's always going to be the last surge. Then you have three fucking chances to take the lead. You commit 2 turnovers by letting Evan Mobley dribble the ball out of bounds, and then a sloppy pass by Donovan Mitchell. And then when you have the inbounds play to get it done, you run a play for Karis LeVert, not Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell. Now, and I'll say it there too. JB Bickerstaff ain't going to be with the team next year. Just not solid enough. Players love him, I'm sure, but too much of this. It's too reminiscent of what we saw last year. So
can I say this? Are we rooting for Buffalo tonight?
Against whom?
The Bengals.
Oh, yeah, I would always want to cheer against the Bengals.
It's kind of irrelevant, really. I think Buffalo and Cincinnati are kind of irrelevant this year.
Where's the game being played at?
In Cincy.
Ooh, so there. Hey,
let's hope nobody dies on the field like the
Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor has an opportunity to fuck up at a big game. What do you know?
I think it showed that the Hamlin guy throughout the entire game, like,
he's going to
yeah.
I don't know what it is about him, but ever since he's had that, he barely plays anymore.
Well, I mean, he's just lucky to be alive, I think. But they're forgetting Keith C is forgetting Fair Hooker, who was also
that was way before. But I like Webster Slaughter, Braylon Edwards, the Michigan product, who the fans could never warm up to. God, imagine if you're coming from Michigan today. It's like fans would not take well to you.
Are we sure he's not talking about the fullback Mark Edwards?
No, I think he's talking about Reggie Rucker, not Darius Rucker.
Yeah.
Right.
That is nothing I can do. Only want to be with you.
Time. Don't get me going on Darius Rucker.
With Charles Bentley.
Oh, we want to be with you. No, he's a country singer now, Darius Rucker.
Yes.
Yeah. Record label fucked that band over.
Yeah, the second album was horrid that they released.
That was Fairweather Johnson, but the Fairweather Johnson album still sold over 1 million copies. And they dumped them right after that. I've never seen anything like that before, where the first one went like double platinum, and then they forced them to come out with another one real fast, and they did, and it wasn't anywhere near the quality of the previous one. And then they said, wow, you just dropped from double platinum to barely over 1 million sold. You're out of here.
Well, the problem is the singles that were on that second album weren't memorable.
Well, if you were, if they toured your ass around the country to make money off your ass and said, don't worry about, writing music or taking time to come up with good material, just keep touring. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the tour, it's like, all right, put together an album. We got these songs here for you. They suck. And it's like, we didn't have time to write anything. It's like, then you suck. And that's what ended up happening.
There's nothing as bad as that new Beatles single that they put out. That is absolutely dreadful dirge. That is.
Well, I'm going to take exception only because, first of all, the idea that it's a Beatles song is incorrect. It's a John Lennon demo, for Christ's sake.
Exactly.
The guy was sitting in his Dakota apartment with a tape recorder,
pounding on his piano,
thumping on the piano, right? Too loud. It was out of balance. Yeah. It's really quite remarkable technologically with AI, what they did with that. Yeah. I thought that was really a great engineering job, much better than what they were able to do back with Free as a Bird and the other one that have gone on to being nothing. But it was a John Lennon song at a time of his career in 1978 where John Lennon, quite honestly, wasn't working. And he was assembling a bunch of ideas. And I can guarantee you that there would have been changes to that song lyrically and from a chord structure, and it would have sounded very different had it really been a serious single.
Yeah, they would have spent 2 months on it trying to make it better instead of like just taking what they got and trying to clean it up. It just should never been let go. I mean, there was an interview that Philip Norman did on Sky News here where he absolutely slated the recording, and the woman interviewing him was really pleased that he was honest about it. So
yeah, and Radu, how was George Harrison working on it? Because back in 1995 when they did, and thank you, Rick May. It's good to see you in here, Rick. You know I love you.
Still
yeah, good guy. Rick May is a
real
good man, and he's had a whirlwind last 30 days, and I'll leave it at that. But you got love here always. The idea was in 1995 that Real Love was done. Thank you, Rick May, along with Free as a Bird, and they were toying with the third one, which was Now and Then. And so they started working on it, but they didn't have the technology to stop that piano from drowning out his vocal. And so it just wasn't it wasn't doable. George Harrison actually said it's rubbish, not meaning the song, but the whole thing was just a clusterfuck as far as engineering. But he laid down rhythm guitar tracks. If you're listening to the final song, the slide guitar solo is McCartney trying to imitate the style of George Harrison. Harrison's only appearances are background strumming rhythm guitar. All right. So they could technically say that all four Beatles were on the recording. I thought that the video was fun. It was sad and fun at the same time. Great band. Greatest band in my lifetime. There hasn't been anybody who came close since then, except for Britney Spears. And, you know, I think that, again, what did anyone expect? I mean, it's a demo. And it wasn't like they had this thing in a vault, this great song, you know.
No, that would have been out 30 years ago if they had.
But I guarantee you all this Beatles demo stuff is going to be put into that AI stuff, and it's all going to come out again. You know, they're going to, it's going to keep feeding the beast, so to speak. The Beatles are still a money-making enterprise. And, but I love the band too much to say anything bad about this because you know, again, seeing the two surviving Beatles in the video with the others superimposed in, it just tells you how long it's been and how old we are.
You know what I say to upset Beatles fans today? I go, well, you know what's happened? The wrong two Beatles are dead. So,
oh man,
that tends to kick them off.
That's just you don't like Ringo.
I'm sure there's those Beatles fans out there probably wish Yoko was the one that died.
Well, let me tell you, Keith,
it's still going. I love Yoko.
The single "Angry" that and I talk about a great video. That was very clever the way they did the video. And it's amazing how they can clean up Mick Jagger's vocals to the point, because he can't do it live. But, you know, it was nice to hear the Stones in their comeback album here, going back to old Rolling Stones kind of style. And so I could be fans of both. I think the Stones have done some great stuff. The greatest thing the Stones has done is somehow managed to keep Keith Richards alive and toxic at the same time. But, you know, I am more of a Beatles fan because I just think they wrote such incomparable music.
Well, there you have it.
So at any rate, but what the Stones have going for them is a woman with very large tits. And throughout the video, So
I haven't seen this. So
Angry, just find the
Okay.
official video for
Yeah.
Angry by the Stones. And oh yeah, I mean, if you liked White Snake, what was her name?
Oh,
The crazy one. Oh,
not the one that was
Tawny
involved with
Katane. Tawny
Tawny
Katane.
Katane. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Chuck
here I
Finley.
go again on my own. Her with the legs and the car.
Chuck Finley's girlfriend.
Yes.
The great
Now,
Chuck Finley of the Cleveland
take that
Fighters.
3 steps further, and you'll get the woman in the Angry video.
Oh,
She's
wow.
all flashing as much tit as she can. But yeah, fun stuff. It's rock and roll. So what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm done talking about the game. I got to get out of here. I'm gonna
You gotta
go out
here.
to
You gotta do
dinner
your thing.
tonight, have a good time, and get myself all ready for tomorrow because we're doing our finishing close-up stuff and packing stuff so that we can be prepared. I got to contact Topaz's transport company to find out when they're coming on Wednesday.
Don't me up.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to leave them, you know.
Why does Topaz sound like Mickey Mouse? Topaz sounds exactly like Mickey. No, I don't.
And Craig, that is part of it, but the fact that individually after that and I'm not going to sit there and tell you that I'm a big Wings fan.
Oh yeah, I was just about ready to crucify you. If
No.
Paul McCartney
but
and Wings were
there are songs that Paul McCartney has written, and there is a wonderful song from Chaos and Creation album that was back earlier in the 2000s, a song called Jenny Wren. That was a beautiful song that was kind of in the style of Blackbird, a completely different song, but in that acoustic style. Paul McCartney could still write good songs. It was just that his band skewed a little young for my taste after the Beatles. John Lennon was not a prolific amount guy, but to say that Imagine was a great song. And the last album he did with Starting Over and all of that,
the Double Fantasy album,
right, with the exception of every other track, was really shut up, Yoko, shut up.
Leave Yoko alone.
Yeah,
it's like low-hanging fruit picking on Yoko.
Leave Britney alone.
Don't pick on these women. They can't. It is what it is,
Yeah, but what the hell? Hey, a victory for the Browns.
Victory Monday, followed by defeat Monday next week.
5-3. That's the way it works. Are we Monday Night Football?
God, I hope not.
No, what? Because
we're a 6 o'clock game. I think we're what I mean by that, the 1 o'clock game. I think we're a 1 o'clock game.
How come it wasn't being promoted that way as a CBS game? Because they
got the Packers and the Steelers, the game they're promoting, I believe.
Before I get out of here, somebody write in the chat room what day and what time is the Browns game? Because I'm going to be down in Florida, kind of scavenging. It just seems strange that they didn't list that as a 1 o'clock game on a CBS broadcast. I'm wondering if it's going to be like a Thursday Night Football or one of those types of things.
It's a 1 o'clock game.
Really?
Definitely.
I don't know what they were promoting then. Who knows?
I think their main game's Packers and Steelers.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see that. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining me on the postgame show. Victory is ours, 27-0. And I'll be back again tomorrow. I want to remind you that we're going to be traveling. So I don't think there's going to be...
Roll on, big move.
Yeah, the question is whether there'll be a Friday show, and I'm not sure because I could be going back to a car with a dead battery. I'm going to have a lot of shit to do on Friday. So I'll keep you all abreast of this on the social media. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks, Craig. Thank you. We got it. It's me that's
1
confused.
p.m. Sunday, or as I like to call 1 p.m. in your time, 6 p.m. my time.
There you
6
go.
p.m. game.
And Bronk, thanks always. Dave Filefsky,
Boo.
thank you. And I'll see you again Monday. Until then.
And thank you to Raul.
See you again tomorrow. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.